right. Well, who says that first game after a road trip is tough? No big deal, right? Although I'd say that we had some dead legs in the first period, as the Boston Bruins don't come out with the best first period, but quite honestly, Razor, it wasn't the worst either. They got out of it 1-1 as they end up skating to a victory over the Utah Mammoth. I kept wanting to say the Utah Hockey Club. I don't know about you. I kept wanting to, but the Mammoth lose to the Bruins 4-1 in a game that the Bruins took over late first, really took over in the second period. Welcome to Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, post Bruins victory over the Utah, formerly Hockey Club, now Mammoth. This Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor brought to you by Sparks, Copeland Automotive Group, Fazenda Coffee in Sunset Lake, CBD. All right, Razor, three-man booth, a garden party. We had food on the set. You missed a good sandwich. You did.
I saw the sandwich from afar. It looked solid.
It was really really good. Hot honey chicken with a coleslaw and a dill pickle and or dill pickle chips and fries. Really good.
Yeah, it's as good as you don't need anything else at all.
I might need a heartburn pill, but that's about it.
That's it. Yeah, you'll pay for that.
Yes.
If it's not tonight, it'll be tomorrow.
Exactly. I don't know. You have fun? Great. You guys sounded great in the booth. You sat with Brick and Judd.
Yeah, it was great up there. It was great up there. Obviously, a different view and different, again, just a different way of watching the game. But the Bruins are good, right? The Bruins are, like they're able to snap their way out of it. They've got enough talent and confidence.
So how good are they though? This is a big picture question, but I think it's a great. We don't need to go over the minutia of the game. We'll talk about it, but how good do you really think they are, given where we're at now? 3 games into the season for them? 34? What is it? 33, 34?
34 now, and they're plus 6. They're good. They're I guess because there's 3 or 4 games within those 14 losses where they should have got points, like egregious.
Utah, the first game,
egregious that they didn't get points early in the season. That I do believe they would get points now, and they might even win those games now from how far they've come. I'm far from ordering the rings, but the bad teams don't go 8-1 after 9 losses. And that's what the Bruins have done here is they haven't stacked losses together. They've been able to snap out of them with their P and V and their structure and their goaltending. Sway was really good again tonight, just solid. Nothing easy's going in behind him. So how good are they? It's hard to really tell how good anybody is, but they're a playoff team right now for me.
Well, they're legitimately fighting for one now. Before, when they had so many games in hand, they were, or not games in hand, games above other teams played. They were quote unquote in the playoffs, but I kind of thought it was, when I say smoke and mirrors, I'm just saying they were 4 or 5 games ahead of some other teams that, points percentage wise, that wasn't the case at all. Now they're legitimately in the playoff picture, and we've got a half season to go. So we got a long way to go, but they're legit in. The eye test says to me as well that they're legit, at least to be talked about as a team you're going to have to deal with. Like, there's not many teams in the East that are out of it. I think there's 3 or 4. Are you comfortable saying Buffalo's out and Columbus? I'm not, but I know I look at them. I'm like, it's going to be real hard for them to make it.
Yeah, the math doesn't work for those 2 teams now.
Right. So okay, but besides that, you can more or less make a case for anybody to stand. But the Bruins are legit. Hey, this is a team that everybody's looking at now as we better be ready to play them. Before, there was a lot of unknown what they were going to be. But I think they're really, they have the depth is what's making me feel more confident now, because I don't feel like the depth is overachieving. I think they're contributing the right amount. Steve's went on that run where he scored a bunch of goals, right, in a week. But his role is, as we see now, a third line guy, right? And we 12 and a half minutes a game. And he looks good doing it. Asimon, he's in and out. All right. He comes back in and he does pretty damn good. He's got not just a beautiful goal. I thought he was jumping all night. He was one guy I thought that had his legs all night. Not many Bruins had their legs in the first. I thought he did. But otherwise, my point is the depth has come through, whether it's Soderstrom when he's playing, Aspero when he was healthy. The depth has made significant difference for this team. I didn't know they had this Razor when the season began. I did not know that they had this.
No, we didn't. And again, goes back to the people making the team and the people going through the players and the signing of guys through the summer that, in Easymont, whatever, depth guy. Janot, that's a bad contract. Soderstrom. Like these guys are all paying off in their small, separate little ways. And they've built something. Whether, what it is and how it ends up, I'm not sure. But again, 34 games, we're at Christmas time. They're in the fight. And again, I go back, the fact they haven't lost 2 games in a row since their 6-game losing streak in November, but once. Yeah. And that's there's no other other than Colorado. My guess is there's no other teams that can say that in the National League. They have the best home record. They have the best. How about this, just Bruins fans? They have the best home record in the Eastern Conference. So that you go to a Bruins game, you get more wins than every other team in the Eastern Conference. Would you have signed up for that on July 3rd over this summer? And I know you all would have. So all good stuff. All good.
What about the first game back from we'll call it a long road trip. It wasn't a 17-dayer, but it was 7 days, 8 days that they're on 3 games. Not a lot of games, but solid amount of days on the road. Come home, except for about 2 minutes of that first period, they were playing to that first game back that malaise, which I was on the intermission, the set with PJ Stock tonight, and he kept saying he didn't think about it ever as a player. I never thought about it as a player, he kept saying, right? Like, this whole you don't perform well. I don't know. I can't imagine how guys don't think about it now, because that's all people talk about, because the records show how many teams lay an egg in that first game back. But to their credit, they get themselves righted with that beautiful goal at the end of the first period. It was 4 minutes left from Geekie on the power play. We'll talk about in a second. And then they just reset after that first period. It's like a whole different team the rest of the way.
Yeah, the power play's been so big for this team. They're clipping at 25% on home ice. Again, they're 5th in the league. They're 25% overall. Right there with Edmonton, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Montreal, and the Boston Bruins. Another thing, like, you just have to feel good about that, because it hasn't gone away. It hasn't been a flash in the pan. They moved it around. They should have scored 3 in the second on the 1 power play unit alone. Yeah. I mean, the way they moved that thing around tonight was a thing of beauty. It was 2019 Bruins, how they moved that around. So that first period, is a positive in that. Yeah, you didn't have your leg. You're trying to get going. You're trying to get guys going, but the power play bails you out. Just didn't happen in last season at all, not once, and continues to happen this year.
So why are the legs so dead after the road trip? Is it because they're being used for something else, or is it because when they get back? Is it because it's just that I'm just going to try to get back into the swing of things, and I get mentally tired? What is it?
No, I think you just get distracted. It's just distraction, especially imagine there's a bunch of people that went on road work trips last week who came home Friday night or Saturday morning, and they got absolutely slammed by their family. You got to go to the mall. You got to go grocery shopping. You got to take the kids here. You got to do this with the kids. You got to take them to the Christmas market. You got to do holidays with the family on Sunday who can't be in town for the holidays later next week. Whatever it is, there's a million different things. And that's what these guys get on Monday morning after getting home late from Minnesota. Their day off, so they're completely out of the game. They wake up Tuesday morning, they have to go to the rink, and they're still had to take their kids to the rink on Tuesday, or take the kids to school Tuesday morning. They get to the rink. All right, I'm going to do the morning skate. They get home. The kids get home from school afterwards. They want to hang. You're just not as focused. And as this home streak goes on, all of that stuff kind of goes away because everyone gets back into their routine too. Daddy's not home, and daddy is home all the time. So now we don't need to like jump on him all the time. We'll let him have his nap. But a lot of that is that really is what it comes down to. But also it's, you get on home ice and you feel like it should be easier until you kind of get punched in the face and you got to turn it on.
They also did have, this is a good thing, but it's a tough thing. They did have a community day on Monday. Yeah. And while I know it's important and I love it, meaning I love seeing all the things that they do, and I know the players love it, it's tiring. It is. It's 3 hours of you get there and you're working, so to speak. It's so anyway, I get it. I do. And this year we keep saying condensed schedule, everything that stuff. And I actually get the start. And we were saying, and I know you guys were talking about it upstairs, and especially coming off that third period in mini. We did our show, the live Saturday morning brew on EEI. And before the mini game, we were curious to see what it was going to be like. Mini had a lot of energy for obvious reasons with Quinn Hughes and the team and the home crowd. And they're good. Mini's good. Mini's going to be very good when they get Zuccarello and Foligno and Middleton back in the lineup, Razor. Like they're going to be a really good team. Yeah. And they're still good. I mean, already good right now. But they took it to the Bruins, although the Bruins played well in the first period. They were the better team in the first period, I thought. But they lost. They got to take their med. We all kept saying 4 out of 6 points. We would take it in a millisecond going on the road like that. So then they come home. Utah gets off to a real good start. They end up getting a power play goal 8.5 minutes in. It was Hayton from Dursey and Boot, not Butt. I think it's Boot or Butt. They like the kid, by the way. He's a big game.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah, I was impressed with him. I hadn't really paid attention to that guy.
No, first round pick, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I think, something like that. Yeah, big kid. They got a lot of talent. They got to make a big trade, I think.
Yeah, they got to shake things up. They got to shake it up. They're Buffalo right now for me.
They're Buffalo West, but I think with a better front office.
Yes, and coach.
And a better coach and a better, at least perceptive hope there. Does that make sense? Perceptive hope? I don't know if it does. Screw it if it doesn't. Anyways, so they get up 1-0 in this game. And then the Bruins at the 16-minute mark, Geekie gets the goal from Pasternak and Lindholm on an absolutely, just a breathtaking play of puck movement that goes from one side to the other. It goes down to the goal line, and Lindholm, instead of walking to the front, elects to make a 18-foot pass, maybe 20-something, cross through the seam, to the right side where Pasta gets it. Not a one-timer shot, but we're all thinking, I won't speak for you, I'm thinking, PJ's thinking, they're going to shoot. He's going to shoot from there.
Oh, for sure.
And instead then, he loads and lets go a bullet pass over to Geekie back on the other side, who puts it in. No chance for Vanacek. He was absolute diving all over the place like a street hockey goalie. And it was just an absolute gorgeous thing of beauty on the power play to tie. It was Geekie's 23rd goal of the season. And I'm just going to get it out there right now. That's our spark of the game, that goal. It absolutely was, right? You agree?
Yeah, it was awesome. What a pass.
I wasn't more, what were you more surprised with? The Lindholm pass or the Pasta pass? Because I really thought Lindholm was going to take it to the net. And I'm thinking, what are you taking it away from the net for with the pass in that half a second I had to watch it?
Yeah, it's a great point. either one of them could be passing up great opportunities, like as good as you get opportunities. The game is changing for me. How my hockey sense is changing as I watch this, because again, both of those plays would have went to the net when, and I would have bet on it, and
Yeah.
I would have coached it, and it that but and then there's still times where I'll say I told you so, because they'll try and, so guys will try and make that play, and it doesn't work. If you're not Elias Lindholm, you're not David Pastrnak, you're not Morgan Geekie, there's other guys making that play, and it just get dumped down to the other zone. So but no, it was the David passes, like how he sees that seam. That'll be that's a chore for the historians of hockey, I think, at some point here.
What a pass. And then Geekie's finish. It's great. So that is our Spark of the Game, brought to you by Sparks Hockey. Go to sparkshockey.com, the Spark Sharpener, and now they got the Samurai Deburr. Awesome product. I've seen it. Can't wait to get my hands on my own. Go to sparkshockey.com. They got a holiday bundle there, saving $160 still. You're going to love it. Your hockey player's going to love it, or players, plural. If you're a dad who, is, or a mom who has to get the kids skate sharpened regularly, give it a go. I'm telling you, give it a go. Get it at home. Go sparkshockey.com. Check out their great deals. $160 savings right now on a holiday bundle, and all different rings and everything. Check it out. So that play by Geekie, Pastrnak, Lindholm, Elias Lindholm picking up another point. Boy, does he look like another player. I mean, he really does. No, right now, which is awesome. Really does. Ties it up once. So then, all right, we're going to the second period. Shots were 13-7 Utah in the first. Going to the second period, and normally we've been seeing, well, it was the Fraser Minton line for a while that would come out with Jeannot and Kastelik, the start periods, right? They'd start them a lot. And then it became Corrali line the last few games that they got those kind of assignments. But I love what Marco Sturm does there. He puts Lindholm's line back out there, and they run a face-off play in the center ice. They win the face-off. They got two guys flying around in Geekie and Pastrnak. They get the puck into the offensive zone, and then they get a face-off. They don't get a goal, but they get a face-off created off that. And then they win another face-off in the O-zone, and they do what I like to call the around-the-world play, where the right wing, Pastrnak, swoops all the way behind the net, comes all the way, he gets the puck and comes all the way back up to the left point, and two Utah defenders go to him. He then, it's not a float shot, but it's not a shot as much as it is a puck placement shot. He puts it towards the net. He gets it all the way there, and Geekie's standing alone in front of the net. The puck goes off, I think it was the left pad or leg of Vanacek, and it dead ends right to Geekie, who all he has to do after that screen there is stop, turn, and slam it into the empty net for his 24th goal of the season. A beautiful set play. Zadorov with the assist, along with David Pastrnak, and the Bruins find themselves up 2-1. Gorgeous way to start the period.
It was. We talked a lot about whether it was Kastelik and Jeannot and Minton, or Corrali the last week and a half, Corrali in the middle with those two big horses, and talking about them changing momentum a lot of nights, and how they set the tone for games. Today it was the top line that set the tone, and it was that power play goal at the end of the game, or the end of the first, and then those first 23 seconds of the second period, because they were flawless in the center ice face-off, and then the in zone face-off, and then Utah just couldn't get close the rest of that second period, and it really did set the tone. So a lot of credit has to go to that top line for showing up in that moment, because again, first period, they're tired, they're the ones that have to do the most work all the time and everything else, and they dialed in for their team in that start of the second.
Boy, did they ever. Now, the Bruins, though, only had a 2-1 lead at the end of two, despite the fact, to your point, Utah only had 3 shots on goal in that second period. It was still, I'm thinking, well, Utah's probably saying the same thing the Bruins did after the first period, where the Bruins are saying, okay, we stunk. It's 1-1. We're okay. We'll be okay. Yeah. Utah's saying we weren't good, but it's only 2-1. All we got to do is find our game. And a little thing in the back of my head is like, holy shit, I know that they were the much better team in the second, but they couldn't extend the lead. That was when I say a concern, I mean a mild concern. Like, we because we've seen this at times this year. But then I remembered that they're undefeated when they have the lead heading into the third period, right? Or did I screw that if they lost one?
Yeah,
game?
they're 15-0
They're
now,
15 and 0 now, right? Right. So that's pretty heady stuff. Yeah, they outshoot Utah 8-3 in the second. Then they get goals in the third period from Casey Middlestat halfway through the period. Zaka and Husnadinov with the assist. A beautiful play as the puck gets out of the zone, up the ice. Husnadinov gets Middlestat with the bank pass on the right side. Middlestat brings it into the zone, not cross corner, a cross ice pass over to Zaka. I couldn't tell. Did Zaka's shot get tipped or did he just miss the net from the left
I think
side?
he missed the net.
Okay. He just missed the net, but you couldn't
pass.
bank it better.
What a pass.
Yeah, what a pass. and then Casey Middlestat's on the right side, about 6 to 8 feet away or so from the net, and Vanacek had committed to the shot, so he's able to put it into the empty net. And then Michael Acemont with a gorgeous play, a real explosiveness, show of speed down the left wing side, beats Ole Mata and turns him. And then, as you said on the broadcast, beats the goaltender Vanacek's left pad to the right post. As Vanacek just couldn't keep up with his speed, Razor. No. I mean, I don't know what you do as a goalie there, because he had a full head of steam and turning the corner. It wasn't like he came way from way wide. He came inside the dot and then went to the right post with the backhand.
That was the problem, is that he had a good angle. So you have to somewhat respect the left-handed shot down that left-handed wing as a goaltender, and you can't get ahead. And because he couldn't do that, but Acemont had way too much speed. So he recognized, great on Acemont to recognize that and just take it and beat him to the far post backhand.
So the Bruins end up getting, that was their fourth goal. It was Acemont 6 of the season. They win 4-1. Total shots, Bruins 23, 21 for Utah. Again, just 8 shots on goal the last 41 minutes of the game that the Utah Mammoth were able to generate once the Boston Bruins got their game going. Let's recognize our sponsors, and then I want to just talk about the PK, some of the great things that they've done. It was 8 guys in particular in the game tonight. The PK was 5 for 9 on the road trip. So 4 power play goals against, not great, but good here, even though they do give up a power play goal. I also want to just talk about Swayman and playing him, where he's at, how he played in this game. You mentioned it earlier. I also want to talk about, Morgan Geekie. We already talked about Team Canada. Where does he fit, et cetera. But how about as we get to the halfway point, we've got 7 more games. Is he considered a Hart Trophy candidate? Is he there, given what he has done? But before we get to that, let's quickly just talk about Copeland Automotive Group. Had a chance to connect with Copey today. Finally got the big man on the phone. Great to catch up with him. He's always got a lot of stuff going on. You know what he also has? He's got a lot of great stuff at all of his car dealerships. Razor, you've been to his Toyota dealership. You have a Chevy from him as well. He's got a Subaru. I mean, he's got 5 different dealers right now, and you go to countoncopeland.com, and you can count on Copeland to give you the best deal, the best service, and the best car buying experience. That's what Copeland Automotive Group does. Don't take it from me. Take it from the guy over there. Take it from Razor. Razor has had, you're on your 3rd or 4th car?
Third one.
Copeland?
Third one. Yep. 2 Tahoes and a Toyota. Service is unbelievable. Just a great group of people at both dealerships. Easy. And I am not a car dealership person. Do not like them. Do not like going in. And but it gets done right away. No messing around. You tell them what you want. They go find it. They make it happen. Awesome people.
Tell them that the guys from Morning Brew sent you. Go to countoncopeland.com and check out all the new and used inventory that they have. Fazenda Coffee. I see that Razor's got his Fazenda cup as well. I got mine going tonight. They're just phenomenal people. I'm actually going to visit them over they're in Dedham, where they do all their roasting and all their packaging, and their customer service is fantastic. You can find them wholesale, you can find them retail in many places. They're really in so many great places, like Flower Bakery. That's all Fazenda Coffee right there. If you're in the Newton area, Bettina's. I go over there once in a while, and on my cheat day, which is pretty much every day. I get one of their scones. I just love it. FazendaCoffee.com. If you want to go to see Morning Brew stuff, FazendaCoffee.com/Morning Brew. Folks, these are great gifts, not just the Morning Brew stuff, but like a coffee subscription or buying different blends of coffee, different roasts, I mean, and they'll do it. They'll grind it for you too. They sell a lot of it whole bean, but they'll grind it for you. If you want, they'll ship to you. They are great, phenomenal people. Pete over there is just the best. And so go check out FazendaCoffee.com. And lastly, Sunset Lake CBD. I think Cy won his game the other night. Remember, we talked about that. I think he did. He played up at UVM. If he didn't win, just say you did, Cy. But check out Sunset Lake CBD for all of the fantastic products that Razor and I and RC, the legend, use as well, whether it is gummies, right? You got sleep gummies, you got gummies with and without melatonin. You've got CBD to help you relax. You've got tinctures. You've got sticks of stuff that you can rubs to put on for joints and aches and everything. It's awesome natural products made all of up in Vermont. 20% off when you use the code BRU20, BRU20 to get 20% off site wide. And if you have any questions for them on their products, reach out to them. They want to hear from you. They want to help you make sure that you get the right thing. They also have these lifted teas too. So they got two different flavors. They got traditional and they've got mint. Check out sunsetlakecbd.com. Use the code BRU20. All right. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Razor. Let's talk PK. That was huge in this game. And it wasn't, I mean, do we throw the Minnesota game out? Do we look past that? Or do we have to look at it and be like, there was some issues there. Where are you at with that? Because, we saw some power play goal there against there. Here you give up one against Utah, but you had two other great kills.
Yeah, well, to the Minnesota, you do look over again. You're going to look over the 3-for-5 game unless it happens 2 or 3 times in a 2-week span. Unfortunately, it just happens in this league now. You can't get away from a 3-for-5 night once a month. And when it happens, you kind of get crushed, but everybody else is going to end up in that position. And everyone else, the leading team right now is the Colorado Avalanche on the PK. They're at 86%. They've been dodging them because they have the puck all the time and they just don't take a lot of penalties. But at some point they're going to get a 3-for-3 night and they're going to get smoked on it. So I do look past it, especially because of tonight's effort. And their ability to bounce back even from an early power play goal in tonight's game.
So I looked into the minutes, and again, it was just 3 penalties, opportunities for Utah, but you had about 7-8 guys who were really involved on, the 3 D-men. Hampus, he was at 3:13. McAvoy was at 3, and then Zadorov was at 3, 2:59. To be exact. I would say Peak was just under 2.5 minutes. So these are your 4 main guys there for obvious way. You're not going to really play Lowry and Soderstrom there. And without Aspero still in the lineup, no official update, but hopefully just a little bit longer for him. But then up front, it was really 3 guys that did the most labor on the PK. Corrali at 3 minutes, Kastelik 2:52, Frazier, Minton at 2:39, I believe it is, and then Janot at 1:37. So those were the main guys, and they're doing it. And I loved their stick work. I thought their desperation was great. I don't love, though, and I want to ask you about this, and I think we've touched on this before. It seems like their D they still get kind of drawn out, like they come up higher and leave the net front open just a bit.
Well, that's why they got scored on tonight, because Pete got too far away. Yeah,
right.
And there was a little bit too far. Pick, I don't know
right?
Why. Yeah.
So like, you're a goalie. So if you're seeing something like that, you go to the coaches and say, why are we doing this? Hey, can we talk about this? Or do you just think that they explain why they're doing this, so you already know that before you get to it? Or even if they explain it, can you say to them, hey, I don't agree with this?
Yeah, no, as a goalie, typically you got to kind of shut your mouth and just stop the puck. Like but to your point, they're not just doing it for no reason. Like they,
Right.
they do know exactly where they are. So something is being taught, something is being coached, something is being expected within that structure that we're seeing. So again, they're not getting beat and being told you have to stay. They're not going out to the hash mark, but being told you have to stay on the dot line. There's something that in between that, maybe there might be a little bit of something, but they're told to be aggressive, and whether they might be missing their spot by a few inches, and that's got to be coached and that's got to be changed. But the idea that the goalie can say something, it's out of our hands, and most of it is expected. It's just the little tweakage that needs to be done sometimes, because you're right. 93% of these power play goals that are being scored against them,
Low.
it feels like the D's in a place where they shouldn't be. But that it's also hard to analyze if you don't know exactly what the expectation is.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to practice tomorrow, but that feels like if I can, um, feels like a question that can be asked. Just a learning. I love learning. I hope I want to know why they why they're coming out to that area, because it feels like it exposes more than it needs to. The Bruins are the second leading team as far as shot blocks go in the National Hockey League. Detroit's number one. In no particular order, then there's Montreal, the Islanders, Minnesota, and Dallas. All pretty good teams, right? Usually, heavy quantity of shot blocks isn't looked upon as a great thing because it means you don't have to puck an awful lot. However, these are some good teams. I mean, the Islanders, holy shit, they've been one of the better teams. Wild, one of the best. Dallas, one of the best. Detroit, well, they've been battling up and down just like the Boston Bruins have for a playoff spot, a legit spot in the Atlantic. So are we good with all these block shots? I feel like I am good with them, because I feel there's a difference, Razor, between desperation deep blocks, meaning deep in the zone, where you're just leaving your feet to, which I know goalies really don't like and everything, but to make these blocks, and compared to blocking shots further up and doing it with this is where I'm supposed to be in this spot to do just that. And that's what I feel right now, my friend, that we're seeing from the Bruins. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I agree also because they're 15-0 in the third period. So you might be you're getting more block shots because they have the lead in the third, and they're containing that lead. There is an old adage in the National League where if you're blocking a shot, you're out of position. The best players would tell all the rest of us pigeons that on a nightly basis. Like you don't want to lead the league in block shots most of the time, unless you're a defense, especially if you're a winger. But no, I believe you're on the right path, and you just brought up the 6 other teams that are around them that are all good teams as well. I think in this National League setup, the way the game's played, if you have leads, you're going to block more shots. And at the end of the day, that's you want leads. It's hard to score goals.
One guy who blocked a shot, though, the other day that made me almost lose my dinner, and I had a good dinner. I brought sushi in the other night.
Ooh, nice.
It did really good the other night. I was starved too. It was Morgan Geekie. Remember the shot he blocked in Mini?
Yeah.
And kind of had I got a little heartburn there because he didn't come right out to start the period. And you're like, oh shit. Because he's going to get an x-ray. They x-ray the players, folks, all the time. If there's any question, right into an x-ray room. In Minnesota, he was there. So he went in. The good news is he came back, obviously, and looked awesome tonight. But speaking of looking awesome, I mean, he continues to be number 2 in the NHL in goals scored. He's doing it legitimately. Again, it doesn't feel lucky at all. I mean, he's at that point of like, now you expect him to do something like that. That's where he's at. And what does he mean to this team? I mean, so I go back, is this, and we got a long way to go in the season, but is this MVP worthy type stuff? If at this pace and what he's done for this team. I'm not saying he's above a McKinnon because I don't think he is right now, right? I mean,
Mhm.
McKinnon's been spectacular, but wouldn't he be in the top 5 right now, Razor? Wouldn't he just have to be there?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Or no? Is he just not,
well, the problem is Connor McDavid leads the NHL in scoring now.
I know he's got like 22 points in his last like 4 games, something crazy.
Yeah, it's out. Like he caught. We all said Connor McDavid's having a tough year, etc. But he caught Nate McKinnon. So like that's the issue, right? When you talk about MVP, but it doesn't matter. I don't think that's the point. Like the conversation can be had of just how good Connor or Morgan Geekie is. Like he's just really good. It's the same idea. Like he's not going to get on the Canadian Olympic team, but the fact that he forced his way into drug testing and he forced his way into Team Canada saying, "Yeah, we have to take a look at this guy." That's as big of a deal as anything else. And of course, if he has 400-point seasons in a row, he's going to put himself in the mix. But we can all say here in Boston, as following him on a nightly basis, that he should be an MVP. David Pastrnak has to get MVP votes this season. He had David 2 years ago should have won it. That team got into the playoffs and went to the second round of the playoffs. David Pastrnak should have won MVP. Last year, I would have made a case for him, even though they were last place in the league. This year, he's going to get voted. This year is like legit. But I think Morgan Geekie is going to come in right behind him here, where everyone in the league now is like, okay, yeah, Morgan Geekie's he's a 90.45 goal threat every year from now on. He's not going away, and that won't get him an MVP this season because again, one of these 2 guys or 3 guys are going to get 130 points, and they just have to get it. But you're talking about who's important to the Boston Bruins, and if they get in the playoffs, that's
Right.
MVP stuff.
I mean, another guy, you can make arguments for a lot of these guys. McDavid, McKinnon, we know. I know Draisaitl's been on a tear. It's hard for me not to even throw out votes like right now for Macklin Celebrini, what he's meant to that team. I mean, you're talking 100-point guy on that team. That's at 19. That's unreal. And then you got a few others too. But I just think it was a fair kind of discussion to say, it's maybe a bit hyperbole, so to speak, or extreme. But because of your comment about what he means to the Bruins, and because we all came into this season saying, boy, if you get 35 again, 36, 37, it's a great year.
No, it's outrageous, right?
It's
what he's on pace for is crazy.
Right. So, love to see him get 50. If he can get 50 and 30, 50 and 40, I mean, 50 and 40 would be ideal. I think that might be a little tough, but that'd be fantastic. But all right, fun stuff. Good convo. Swayman, last thing. Love the decision to come back with him. Didn't surprise me at all. We always like to play out what we thought. I didn't give him any bad marks for that Minnesota game. I didn't on that one there. And I didn't surprise me at all when he was first off the ice this morning. He was excellent in the first period, and he did his part, and he justifiably got one of the in-arena stars of the game.
Yeah, solid. Again, another start tonight where it's just he's making it easy. He's making the timely saves, and he's just back to where this is why they signed him. He's right. This is it. This is what they expected, and the reason he's here is because what he went through last season. So he's not going to lay off the gas here in any way whatsoever.
I got to imagine he starts Thursday against the Oil. Saturday is Corpy. Sunday is Sway. Then you got 2 days off before your next game again? If I remember, is it 1 day or 2 days?
Just 1 day, yeah. You go back on Tuesday.
My guess is he'll get that last game against Montreal. Again, we're assuming everything is healthy.
Well, there's 2 scenarios. We're right at the end of the show, but there's 2 scenarios. They either rotate all the way through, or they go 4-1.
Yeah, I think they go 4-1 because Edmonton's playing better. McDavid, Draisaitl, they're bringing it, and it's a big game. It's a big eyeball game too, right?
Yep.
And I would think Sway wants, and then you go Saturday night with Corpy against Van, and then you go divisional, foe on Sunday for Sway, and then Montreal. They got 3 days. That's my guess. And then Corpy gets the game out of the playoffs, out of the playoffs
into Buffalo,
out of the rest. All right, we'll see. That's just where I think we're at. It's going to wrap up this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. Everybody, thank you very much. We will be back with you Thursday. We're doing a second brew after the Edmonton game, and then just for your planning purposes, Razor and I have our Saturday morning brew live on EEI, and then simulcast on Nesson later in the day, and found everywhere else you could want your podcast or your YouTube. Our YouTube channel will be there. RC, thanks for everything, Razor. Great job again tonight in the booth. Will we see you Thursday? What's your schedule Thursday?
I'm in the studio Thursday.
Oh, you have views.
Yes,
you're viewing
views. So
okay, so you'll be watching people with Coors Banquet. Enjoy that. All right, everybody. You guys, you enjoy that. You enjoy your coffee because you should. Your Bruins win.